Hey guys, welcome back. My name is Cortland, and we are here with another episode of My Movie Reviews. Today we'll be talking about Thor Ragnarok. Now, first off, Thor Ragnarok opened in theaters a few weeks ago on November 3rd, 2017, and it is the 17th movie in the MCU to date. That is a lot of movies. And I have to say, this one actually, despite what fans are saying about it, they're hyping it up way too much. I don't feel like it's one of the better Marvel movies at all. I find it better than the first two Thor movies, but I don't find it, in my top 5 Marvel Cinematic Universe movies, like most people would right now. No. It has a lot of problems. So let's get into those. So what do I like about the movie? I like that they're finally continuing the Hulk story, because when we last left off with the Hulk, spoilers, in Age of Ultron, he got put in a Quinjet, and he just kind of flew off across the ocean or whatever, and we just never heard from him again. So many people thought there was going to be a Planet Hulk storyline with that, and over the years they shot down those ideas, but I guess they were secretly planning to incorporate the Planet Hulk story a little bit into Thor Ragnarok later on and reintroduce Hulk back into the universe. But yeah, I like Hulk's character in this movie. We actually get to see Hulk as a character, not Bruce Banner as a character. Hulk. Because, alright, I don't really want to dive too much into spoilers here, but there will be minor spoilers for Thor Ragnarok. So just wow. There's your warning. But yeah, Hulk's been trapped on this planet Sakaar for 2 years, and he hasn't turned back into Banner for that entire time. So what I love about his character development is that when he turns back into Bruce Banner finally, thanks to Thor getting into the Quinjet and whatnot, and triggering that message that you saw in Age of Ultron, he turns back and he starts to really freak out and figure out what the hell is going on with him. Like, the way they portrayed his character, I thought was perfect. We finally get the Hulk that fans have been wanting for a little while now, and I think that based on the events of this movie at the end, I think Banner's pretty much dead and gone. He's just gone. He's pretty much out of the picture. He may turn into Banner once in Infinity Wars, but I highly doubt it. He's probably going to be Hulk the entire time. So I'm pretty sure Banner's just flat out dead, right? And speaking of characters, there's a new character they brought into the movie, Valkyrie. I thought she was actually pretty good. The way they portrayed her wasn't like many other Marvel characters, far from what the comic book adaptations were for that character. Like, she's supposed to be blonde and white and whatever. She's played by Tessa Thompson in this movie, and she's black, but I loved the backstory and like the PTSD that she's going through the entire time she's in Sakaar, just like drinking the nights away. That was good. Oh, and Loki is so funny in this movie. One of my favorite quotes in this entire movie is just whenever Thor and Loki meet Doctor Strange, Doctor Strange just teleports him away and takes Thor into his sanctum, and Loki's just like, the entire time Thor and Doctor Strange were having conversation, Loki has just been falling in this endless magical portal thing, and when he finally brings Loki back, he's just, I've been falling for 30 minutes. It's the best line ever. It's one of my favorite moments of that movie. And I actually had forgotten that Doctor Strange was going to be in this movie, because I read a while ago that he was going to make a cameo in this movie, but that just kind of slipped my mind. And then when I finally saw the movie and saw that scene, I'm like, oh, that's supposed to be a thing. But I kind of don't like how they used the end credit scene for, what was it? Oh, Doctor Strange. The movie Doctor Strange. Yeah, that they reused that scene in the end credits, which they've only done once before with Civil War, but I thought they could have just did something different with that, I guess. I don't know. But anyways, to sum up everything I like about the film is the characters, the comedy, this is what the movie was portrayed as. A pure comedy. That's all they intended it to be. They didn't intend it to be like their standard like dark-ish, comedy-ish movies they had in the past, like I guess Civil War. It's to put it in better terms, comparing it to Civil War is a mistake, because Civil War is a completely different tone of a movie than Thor Ragnarok. Thor Ragnarok, in all intents and purposes, is supposed to be a comedy, and that's what I love about it. But what I don't love about it, transitioning into what I don't like about the movie, and there's a lot I don't like. The story. I feel like the story suffers so much in this movie, because I don't think it has any impact really on the MCU as a whole. It didn't really build off of what had previously been established, besides what Hulk had gone through and like what Loki had gone through, I guess. Yeah, now that I think about it, Loki's portion was good. But what I had a big problem with was Thor's character development. I hated it so much. They just completely disregarded over half the things he has learned, and he has to basically start over, relearn everything from what he had learned in his previous two movies. And yeah, it's just like I didn't like that at all. And the fact that, jumping to the main villain of the movie for a second, the fact that Hela is Thor's sister really bothered me. I hated that so much. In both real-life mythology and Marvel mythology, Hela is Loki's daughter. Alright? That's how it's portrayed in the comics. But the way they did it here is they made Hela Odin's firstborn and Thor's sister, which was the dumbest thing ever. Like, ugh. I swear to God. So, that entire storyline was, I felt, poorly executed and just was completely unnecessary. They could have made this movie way better in terms of story. They still needed to do the comedy bit. I understand why they did the comedy bit, but they just needed to make the story a bit better. And from what I understand, the story for Thor Ragnarok in its entirety was supposed to be something completely different before, I guess, after Age of Ultron. The movies that they started making kind of changed tones completely. Like, they made the MCU more lighter tone, I guess you could say. Like, after a certain point, starting with some movies, you can see the transition between the older part of the MCU and the newer part of the MCU. People who have seen all the movies could probably understand that. But anyways, so yeah, another thing I didn't like about Thor is the fact that he just completely disregarded his friends. All his friends just died. Except for Lady Sif, because apparently the actress wasn't available to do her role. Plot convenience. So yeah, apparently Sif is going to be somewhere out there still. She's still alive. But the Warriors 3, Thor, you just disregarded their deaths. I didn't like that. I didn't like that whatsoever. Why? You don't, and like the way they interpreted Ragnarok, the way Thor thought of Ragnarok in the end, like the whole point was for Thor and Loki themselves to start Ragnarok. Freaking, speaking of the Ragnarok bit, Surtur, the fire dude in the movie, is apparently like the main person responsible for executing Ragnarok, basically. And one of the funnier moments in the movie was at the very beginning, where it just shows Thor wrapped up in chains talking to Surtur, and he's just like dangling, and he keeps turning, and as every time Thor's faces away from Surtur, he just like, wait, I'll come back around. I'm sorry, this is not me. It's the chains. It's chains doing. Just let me turn around really quick. It was hilarious, but yeah. Overall, for what it is, I loved it. But I'm more of a story person, so in the end, that's what I care about most. And I do love to have just like a fun action comedy movie, whatever, to just tune out to just watch and enjoy. But like, whether that's the case or not, I still pay attention to the story, and I still love stories. And the way the story was portrayed, I felt it could use some work. That's all I have to say. So I'd give it a 7 out of 10. That is my score for this movie. 7 out of 10. It's not the best in the MCU. It's not in my top 5 at least. It's not the worst MCU movie. I can tell you that much. There are worse ones. But I can tell you it's the best out of the Thor trilogy. That's one thing I can absolutely say. Maybe. You know, now that I think about it, I might retract that statement a little. I don't know. I would have to go back and watch Thor again. I'm not gonna compare it to Thor 2 at all, because Thor 2 is absolutely ugh. But Thor might actually be better. I don't know. Comparisons aside, 7 out of 10. I'd gladly recommend this movie to anybody. Like, it's a great comedy. It's just something you can sit back and relax and just enjoy your time at the theater. It's so hilarious. That is the whole point of this movie. It gets its point across, and it does its job it needs to do. And that is perfectly a-okay with me. So anyway, what did you think of this movie? Leave your comments down below and tell me what you thought. And if you like this review, like this video, and if you can't wait for more movie reviews to come out from me, then subscribe to this channel and stay tuned for more reviews. Grr.